tones of our character. In our previous lesson, we were able to block in some color for our gear, you can see, and our clothing. And now we're going to spend time working on our skin. And so what we'll need to do is let's go ahead and come over to our brush. I'm going to click and hold. We're going to pull up our mixer brush. And for our mixer brush, we have a lot of great default settings here. And we'll go ahead and start with this cotton blender. And we're going to do some things to allow it to work for us. So one of those is that we're going to click this little button right here. And what this button does is that it actually loads the brush after each stroke. And so it keeps the paint here, whatever it is that we choose. And then, so let's say if we chose something like black, then when we start to blend, actually let's make sure we're on the right layer. There we go. So when we start to blend, you can see that it's pulling in whatever color from our palette, which is very helpful to kind of help blend in, or actually mix in colors into our illustration, into our painting. So we're on our skin tone. Let's make sure that we lock down our transparency for that. Go ahead and choose that. And then let's go ahead and also let's sample a color from our skin. So we're going to grab kind of this lighter, the lighter of the darks. And we're going to come through and start to blend. Now you'll see that this is, it's very blendy, so it's mixing a lot. We're going to pull that mix down to about 25 or so. And then we'll bring the flow down as well. And then we'll bring the wetness down. We'll just bring all these values down just a little bit, just so it's not so extreme. Bring that load down just a little more. And we'll even bring down the flow down to about 11 or 12. See what that looks like. So I'm going to, let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we have about 31 for our flow. And this will allow us to kind of come through and just blend these skin tones. And don't worry about losing some of this detail, because we're going to come back through and we're going to spend more time on the eyes here. What it's important to do is to just kind of blend the skin so that it doesn't look like it looks so painted. So let's go ahead and get some of these spots here nice and blended. We'll take this shadow or the shoulder. We'll start to blend that and bring that back down. And so what's great about having the transparency turned on or locked is that we can actually kind of push these colors away and off of like where our drawing is. Go ahead and blend that. And let's zoom in just a little here. We're going to make our brush size just a little bit smaller, and we want to go ahead and we'll choose a lighter color here. Maybe even push that up just a little. And we're going to focus right here on the nose. I'm going to go ahead and shape this up a little. And then we can go ahead and grab another color. Well, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit X. And then I'm going to use this other color. That way we can kind of go back and forth between lights and darks. Go ahead and blend this part with the cheek. Just like that. And then come right around the eye here. Do the same on this side. Because we're going to use our original sketch to kind of as a guideline when we start to recreate the eye. I'm just going to push these values through. I'm going to hit X to use that lighter color. Just like that. Then hit X just to use this darker color. Kind of go underneath the nose. Just like that. Go ahead and push this up. Bring that down. Then hit X. I'm going to take that lighter color and just kind of bring that down. Just like that. And then hit X again and kind of bring this down. Just like that. Then I'm going to zoom out just a little. We'll use this darker color to help shape up around our mouth and lips. And so We'll spend a little bit more time also focusing on the mouth here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and smooth out some of the rest here. And so what we'll do is we're just going to enlarge our brush now and just smooth out some of these other areas. Oh yeah, we need to go ahead and turn off sample all layers, because you can see as I kind of hit that little gauntlet that we were kind of knocking around some of that color as well. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to hit X. I'm going to use the lighter color, bring down my brush size, and hit this part of the knuckles. And then I'm going to hit X again and kind of go through with this darker color. And we'll spend more time on the hands in another lesson. So I'm just kind of toggling back and forth as I need to use the lights and darks. About like that. And then use that dark, kind of blend that in. Use the light to kind of highlight these knuckles. And then let's go ahead and, you see this part of our illustration, you may or may not have that. I'm going to turn off the transparency. I'm going to grab my eraser. And let's just grab a nice constant brush, one that doesn't have any shape dynamics on, so this will work. I'm just going to go ahead and trim this right here. About like that. And then you can save this brush for the eraser if you don't have it, because we'll probably use that again. I'm just going to shape that up just a little bit. There we go. Alright. Then I'm going to lock this down again. And now let's go back and grab our blender brush. And so what we'll do is we'll just kind of come through, and I'm going to do this for all of the skin. Just kind of blending areas, increasing my brush size, just kind of blending through. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of come through with the darker areas and hit those up. And then up here underneath the chin, we'll focus on that. And then feel free also to take a look at our reference and how these colors and how the lights and darks work. And then we're going to use this lighter color back here. And then again, we're going to come back to the hand, so we're not going to spend much time there. But I am going to, let's go ahead and blend this while we're at it. And then I'm going to hit the lighter and kind of hit some of this area. I'm also going to add kind of like a little bit of definition right there. Add some lights. About like that. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to grab our regular brush. So I do like this blender. Let's go ahead and save it. And we'll call this our skin blender. And let's go and grab our brush tool, and I'm going to make a really light brush. So I have chosen a really soft. Let's bring our flow down to about 7, and then let's take a look at how our shape dynamics are. Let's go ahead and turn off any shape dynamics, and then close that up, and make sure we just have that set to, actually, you know what? Let's use multiply. But first, before we hit multiply, let's go ahead and save this brush. Hit the little plus. We'll just call it super soft, because we'll use it again. But we're going to now turn on the multiply. I just didn't want to save it as multiply. And we're going to use one of these darker values here. Then we'll just kind of bring this down. And so now we can come back over and we can add some shadows where we need to. So remember, this part of that back arm is pretty dark, so we'll go ahead and hit that up. Let's go ahead and reference our shadows here. A lot of shadow right there. I'm actually going to bring that brush size down. I'm going to focus on that area. Bring these shadows in. Go ahead and take a look again. And then let's see what our arm looks like. So we have these shadows that kind of pop through. So we'll spend a little bit of time here. And then let's also turn off multiply. And we can actually come through and use our lights here and kind of hit up some of these other areas. And then let's go back, and with that shadow, I'm going to go ahead and turn on multiply. Just give a little bit of shadow to this side of the face here. And then we have this little area. And so after we add these shadows, we can also come back and we can start to blend out some more things here. So I'm going to go back to normal. And just very lightly, I'm going to kind of add some little highlights here. That part of the arm. I'm going to come back and then blend some of this out. And so I'm just going to spend a little bit of time kind of going back and forth and like adding just a little bit of detail through here. Adding shadows to the neck, and then taking a look. I might even come through right here. Add some shadow to the stomach, the back, and then I'll go through and hit normal. I'll swap brushes. Zoom in a little bit here. We'll add like just this little, just a little bit of a highlight to the stomach right there. Then I might come back through with my blender brush, or my mixer brush, I should say. And then we can, blend things out just like that. Awesome. And so we'll just spend a little bit of time doing that. And so I'm going to stop for now, and I'll spend a little bit of time kind of blending some of these out. And then in our next lesson, after we're finished working on the skin tones, then we're going to